Welcome to Barney's first and quite possibly last episode of How to Cook. Today I'll be showing you how I make some cottage pie. Woo. Fucking pause. Alright, so the first thing we will be doing is prepping our vegetables. Just got some carrots, onions and some garlic here. The rest will come in a bit, just the potatoes. I'm just going to be mincing these, grating them, and doing whatever with the garlic. I'm sure you don't need me to show you how to chop one of these up. I just realised my hand may be in the way so you can't see a thing I'm doing, but whatever. Alright, so at this point your eyes should be watering quite a bit, but we can't slow down, so take your carrots, start peeling them. Alright, now we take our freshly peeled and washed carrots, take them to the grater. Now don't be a hero, if it gets to this point don't bother going any further, otherwise you're going to end up with no fingerprints. Okay, now that we have grated our carrots, we're going to set them aside in this little ramekin for use later. And you don't have to grate your carrots, you can just dice them up. I just don't like the texture of it in my cottage pie, so this is an optional step. You can just dice them up if you really do want to. So let's just chuck this in, make a mess everywhere as well. So you guys can't see it, can you? Turn it around this way. Okay, before we go any further, we're going to have to clean up all this here. Oh, you fucker, I just got carrot on fucking phone. No, don't adjust the brightness. Oh. Alright, now that's all brushed up, we move on to our garlic. Now I'm only going to be using, I say about 2, should be enough for this. Because, actually I have 3, why not? When I'm doing this, I don't measure out exactly what I'm going to be using, it varies every time. But if you do want, I will leave detailed instructions in the description if you want to follow along to exactly what I've done here. Might taste like shit though, you might not want to do that. Now, it's pretty simple how to chop garlic. Knife on it like there, smash it down, and that skin should come right off. There we go. Let's speed this shit up. Just I have to try and do this with my left hand, don't I? Ah, fuck that, I'll chop my fucking fingers off. Okay, now I will be, fucking hell that was loud, I'll be peeling and chopping some potatoes, don't know how many, just enough to comfortably fill this pot here, if you can see how big that is. Sure you don't need me to tell you how to do that. Now with the potatoes decimated and the pot filled, we're going to fill this up with cold water, a little bit of salt, and we're going to bring that to the boil. Now that all the prep has been done, we are going to start our cooking. So in a pot, a little bit of olive oil, maybe a tiny bit more than that actually. We then grab our onions and garlic, not the carrots, just dump that shit in there. And then realise that you put it on way too high. It's important as you do this to keep stirring it. You don't want any caramelised onions. We just want to sweat them a little bit until they start turning slightly translucent, like they are right now. And that's when we get our minced beef. Okay, so take your minced beef, just slap it right in there. Make sure you take the little paper thing on the back off. Start breaking that up. Make sure you actually have the right equipment for it as well. This spatula is fucking useless. I've just took it off the heat for a second. Now that you've browned your mince and added your carrots in, we now take a tube of tomato paste. Just squeeze a little bit of that in. About that much. Actually no, a bit more than that. Mix that in. Okay, now take a decent scoop of flour, just plain flour. Dump that in there. Immediately begin mixing it about. preferably without holding the camera at the same time. Okay, so this next ingredient is pretty optional, depends whether or not you can actually get hold of any red wine depending on your age. If not, ask your parents or carers or whatever. But now add about half a glass worth of red wine, maybe about that. And start stirring that around and boil off all the alcohol in there. Okay, after boiling that off for a while, you should notice that the mince sort of holds its shape now whenever you scoop it up. Now is the time to add our fresh rosemary. Fresh thyme if you have any. I couldn't find any in the shop, so I don't know. Shit, maybe not that much. And let's say a dried bay leaf because I can't find the fresh ones. Okay, and then we just let these stir around for about 1 or 2 minutes before we add our beef stock. Okay, it's been about a minute or two, so we take our beef stock, dump all that shit right in there, and now's the moment where you scrape the bottom of the pan, get all that beautiful fond off of there. Oh, looks fucking amazing that, doesn't it? Also make sure you turn on the right hob when you're doing your potatoes, because I kind of fucked up there and turned this one on. Burning the shit out of my arm when I was holding on to that. But anyway, this is about the consistency we should be going for. Not too thin, not too thick. Holds its shape, but there's plenty of gravy in there for you to enjoy. So we're going to take this off the heat now, set it aside just behind on this one. Without any heat on it, I'm going to wait for these to finish cooking or softening up. Right, shit, before I forget, right, get your Worcestershire sauce, take off the bottle cap with one hand somehow, or 2 hands. A few dashes in there, tiny bit more than that. Alright, perfect. Try and keep this shit high paced instead of slow like I have been doing. Right, mix that in. You can't even see what I'm doing. Okay, yep, that smells fine. Gonna get a spoon out. Hopefully you didn't see my disgusting feet. And we're going to just taste a tiny bit of this. There's a tiny bit of salt and pepper in there, so 1 second. I know you can't see how much I'm putting in, so you're just going to have to listen. So that's pepper. This is salt. Right, give it a whisk. Look, I need to look where the camera's going, don't I? Right, that's all mixed. Maybe not that much. Looking brilliant. So almost done. Best way to check it, get a, not a sharp knife, but a decently sharp one like this. Just see if it goes into the top. A bit more effort. There we are. Oh, that's all done. Now it's time to drain them. Ignore everything I just said there. It was like a new world record there for the hardest potato in the entire world. Jesus Christ, almost broke my fucking arm trying to squeeze that through there. My phone died on me a bit, so you guys didn't get to see how I made all this mess. But the secret to brilliant mashed potatoes is to rice them, mash them, whatever you want to do. About a cup full of steamy milk, knob of butter, salt and pepper to taste, stir it, perfect. Now we're going to let this set for about, I don't know, 5-7 minutes till it's solid enough at the top for us to put this on without it sinking right to the bottom. Alright, when we've done that, we'll shove it right in the oven. And just chuck that in the oven around about 190 for about, until it's golden on top. Christ alive, I've made one heck of a mess here, haven't I? Look, how did I manage all that? It's only cottage pie, Jesus. And look at that. Top tip, make sure you use an oven-proof dish big enough, because it's overflowed quite a bit, you can see along here, along the back and that. But yeah, let that cool for 10 minutes, it should be absolutely perfect. Yeah, I think that's about it. This has been episode 1 and the final episode of Cooking with Barney. So if you want to follow this along, let me know how it goes, but bye bye, I guess.